Hi, my name's Justin Capicchiano. I'm the Ford Programs Manager for Ford Performance, also looking after motorsport. I'm here today with the new Ford Ranger Raptor. I'm just going to give you a bit of a go around the car, a bit of a talking to around what the vehicle's about, how we went about it, and what makes it a special truck. So where we started with the previous vehicle was a truck that was currently without peer, even within the market as it stands now. And we wanted to listen to our customers, and the resounding feedback from the customers in a number of markets like South Africa, Australia, North America was that they wanted more, right? And more not being defined as one specific thing, it was more of everything. So how do you do that? What we did was we started at the front and we worked our way back, and we made sure that we touched every component and made it feel in line and in balance with each other. We didn't just do a powertrain, we did chassis changes, we did interior changes, we upped the level of technology. We made the car have a soundtrack that really resonates with the character of the vehicle. And to do that, you start at the front. And we've got an amazing powertrain under there. We've got a brand new 3-litre twin-turbo V6 EcoBoost petrol engine. It produces 292 kilowatts and 583 newton meters of torque. And it produces that torque exactly where you need it when you're doing off-road driving. It produces it down low all the way up to the top of the rev range. It's a dynamite powertrain, and it's a performance-orientated powertrain. The 3-litre EcoBoost motor shares very little with the 2.7 litre that it's based on. It has a unique block, unique heads, unique cams, a unique intake system. It's a motorsport inspired engine. This same truck that you can see here won the Baja 1000 with exactly this powertrain, with nothing else done to it. But the powertrain is just one story. If on its own, if that's all we'd done, we would have created a vehicle that was out of phase with itself. The previous generation vehicle was designed to be a momentum vehicle. It was designed to get along terrain as smoothly and as efficiently as it can, and it did that really, really well. But with this one, we were really determined to put more control, more urgency within the driveline to make it feel like a performance truck. It now is a bona fide and unmitigated performance vehicle. It's absolutely a focused truck. You can drive this thing on the front axle. It steers under brakes. We've done a huge amount of changes to the underbody of the car to work in conjunction with that powertrain. And for me, I feel like the car actually has a personality. We've engineered that into the car, and you can absolutely feel that when you're driving it. So on the previous generation of vehicle, we had the FORD grille that you can see here in a cage, what we call the cage. So this grille was contained within a frame. And what we wanted to do was really expand this across the front of the vehicle to really emphasize the width of the car. The previous generation of vehicle also had a lot more softer radiuses around the front headlamps. What we had was, we had the raised ride height from the Fox suspension. We had increased track width due to the stance that we were trying to create. So that enabled our designers to really sort of make the guard sort of really tight and tense and sort of drop right over these front angles here. So these C-channel lamps, this dynamic styling statement that you can see here is emphasized here with another C-channel wrapped around the corner of the fender here. The fractal graphic package, which is an option at your dealer, inspired by war paint, really wanted to make the vehicle feel like it was going into battle when you could see it. So it's sort of like stretched over the front of the eye of the vehicle like a warrior. The key design cues for Ford Performance is that everything that has a vent or everything that has a pass-through needs to be functional. So you can see down here where we've got the fog lamp pocket, the air that travels through here is a pass-through. And this is designed so that if you're doing water crossings, this is a negative pressure area. Water can go through there and actually just pass through the fender without pushing the bumper bar backwards. The bonnet vents are functional, so they pass through and extract heat through the negative pressure area that sort of sits above the bonnet. The fender features again are pass-through, so this extracts air outside from the guards, because now on the inside of this, it's an open open section, so the air can actually pass through and just sort of come back out the side of the car as you're driving along. Key to Raptor's design cues, are the metal side steps, which offer increased vehicle protection when you're going over high-sided bumps. We've done all new wheel designs. If we move our way to the back of the vehicle, you'll see that the traditional Raptor load box is different and unique to Raptor. It's pushed out and pumped out to cover the increased rear track. At the back, one of my favorite design features is obviously the twin visible exhaust, which really give you an idea about the potency and the power that comes from the engine. And of course, this needs to sound purposeful, which it does. It's a unique valved, electronically controlled exhaust system. When you activate that through your steering wheel functions, you can push the button that says exhaust mode, and you can have quiet, normal, sport, or Baja. Baja being the loudest, and effectively turns that system into a straight through exhaust system. And it sounds amazing. V6s are traditionally really difficult to get to sound right. And we spent a lot of time on the soundtrack of this vehicle to make it sound purposeful, make it sound unique, and give it its own inherent character. From the rear as well, the key design features and from a functionality perspective, Raptor needs to have tow hooks. When you're out into the desert, it's not uncommon to get stuck or come across other people that are stuck. So we've got twin rated tow hooks both at the front and at the rear. So inside the vehicle, one of the things that has really changed the game on this car is the ability to have a high resolution 12.4 inch digital cluster here and the centralized sync screen. Combine that with the selectable drive modes and the off-road screen, you've really got everything that you need at the touch of your fingertips to customize the vehicle how you want to do it. We've got metallized shifters behind the steering wheel, which feel really expensive and premium to touch. They're positive engagement. You really understand when you're pulling them that you're pulling something that's doing something. We didn't want to have plastic shifter paddles or anything that sort of felt cheap. The steering wheel is bolstered and is unique to Ranger Raptor. It's not shared with any other Ranger product. On the steering wheel itself, we have a number of buttons. We've got a steering mode, we've got suspension, we've got an exhaust button. We've also got the R button, which is the My Mode selection. It allows you to customize any of the pre-selected modes that you want the way that you want it. So you can have, say, if I wanted to go into sport mode, that changes the sound of the exhaust, it changes the suspension, it changes the steering, but it also does things that aren't necessarily just displayed on the cluster. It changes the way the ABS works. It changes the level of traction control intervention. It changes the shift crispness. It changes the throttle progression and modulation. So it really does change the overall character of the vehicle. You can have it mild or you can have it wild. So let's just say I'm in sport mode and I want to have the car sound even louder than sport mode. So I can simply push the exhaust button and I can move it over to Baja. And then if I want to keep that every single time, I can simply push and hold the R button to save my selections. When I'm four-wheel driving, if I go into, say, sand mode, which is appropriate for where I'm at, a number of things will change. This screen will pop up with a digital camera that's pointing forward. The camera's angled slightly down, so when you're cresting dunes or going down steep hills, you can actually use the camera to sort of see up and over where you can't see because your car is pointing up. So what I can see here is if I simply push the off-road button, I have a number of options laid out in front of me. In sand mode, the default is that the rear diff lock is on. If I wanted to turn that off, I simply just push the diff lock button. And then if I was, say, really stuck, I can go into low range. And once I'm in low range, I can actually select now a front diff lock, I can select my rear diff lock, and if I wanted to be, you know, if I was going up or down a dune and I needed to control my speed, I can use trail control, which is the center button there, and I can simply select the speed that I wish to go down that hill at by using the cruise control select button. So it really enables you to sort of make off-roading as simple as you can and as safe as you can by having the technology available at your fingertips to get yourself out of trouble. So to turn them off, you simply just turn each one off by touching them. The front screen, I can change that. I can go into this button option here. I can change that to 360. I can have forward facing, I can have my front 3/4 view, or I can have rear. I've got these wheel tracks that if I turn the steering wheel, it follows my path. So imagine if I'm crossed up and now my steering wheel is looking like I'm at 12 o'clock, but I can't see where I'm at. And without jumping out of the car and assuming it may not be safe to do so, I can simply look at this center screen and see that the wheel selection marks are turned over. So I know that I've got one full rotation of steering lock on, and to bring that off, I just need to bring it back to center and I can see that the wheel tracks are pointing dead straight. It's just a way to make the technology work with you and not against you while you're driving off-road. And to be honest, that makes four-wheel driving a hell of a lot more enjoyable, a lot more safer for novices. The customization that we've put into the vehicle enables the expert driver to really sort of tailor the vehicle to their level of skill set. So in Baja mode, the vehicle defaults into 4 high, which means we have a 50-50 split between the front axle and rear axle for power distribution. But should I be on really hard packed sand, or I feel like wanting to have some enthusiastic driving, what I can do is I can put that into 2 high, which means that I have power going exclusively to the rear wheels, and then I can play around with the different settings for traction control and stability control, which once you've become familiar with the vehicle really opens up another avenue of how to drive this car.